येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We are reading from the book The Path of Perfection by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We are in chapter number 10, and the name of the chapter is The Path of Perfection. माम उपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गतः. Krishna, in the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, attaining the Supreme, the name of the chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, the 8th chapter is called as attaining the Supreme. How a living entity can attain the supreme destination after giving up this material body. Krishna explains this topic in this chapter. So, Srila Prabhupada is referring to the specific verse of chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam na apnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gataha. So, mam upetya means reaching. So, mam upetya, once one reaches me, mam upetya, punarjanma na apnuvanti. He will not take birth again. He will not come back again to this material world. And the description of material world is given here. There are two qualities of the material world. What are those qualities? This material world is dukkhalayam. Alaya means place of residence, house, right? This material world, Krishna is calling this as dukkha alaya, the place of misery or the house of miseries. And the other quality of this material world is that this material world is ashashvatam. This world is not permanent. This world is not eternal. This world is temporary world. Today it is there, tomorrow it may not be there. It will be destroyed by the kala, by the time. Such mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha, because they have attained the highest perfection of their life. Samsiddhim paramam gataha, they have attained the highest perfection. So those who attain Krishna, they will not come back to this material world. They will not take birth again in this material world, this world which is full of miseries and which is temporary, because they have attained, such great souls have attained the highest perfection of their life. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. This material world is certified by its very creator. The Prabhupada says, Krishna himself, the creator himself, has certified this world as dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Certified by its very creator, the Supreme Lord, as dukkhalayam, which means the place of miseries. Since this is the case, how can we possibly make it comfortable by so-called scientific advancement? right? And the Creator himself is saying that this world is full of miseries. How can we, the teeny living entities, by the teeny efforts of the teeny senses, with the help of the teeny intelligence, how can they make this world comfortable? And the Creator himself says that it is not a comfortable place to live, right? So, so many times it so happens, when we go in the marketplace to buy something, right? When the person, he knows the product best, or the person who has created that product, if he says something about that product, we immediately agree to the point, right? We immediately agree. If the person says that this product is meant for this, or this product will give you this, then we immediately accept, yes, because the creator of the object itself is saying that. So here in Bhagavad Gita, the creator of this entire manifestation says that this world is Dukhalaya, but we don't accept. We are so foolish that we try by our own endeavor. By foolish means, we try to make this world comfortable. We think, I have so many problems in my life. If I get this, if I get that, then I'll be comfortable. No, sir, no, madam, you cannot be comfortable in this world. This world is created to give you miseries. When a person says that I'll earn more money, I'll create a big bungalow, I'll create a glass house, I'll create a car, which gives the most sophisticated comfort to me, it is same as saying that a person who is behind the bars, who is in the jail, he says that I'll make this jail comfortable. What do you call such a person? A fool, right? So similarly, most of us, in the run of this life, in the rat race of this life, all of us think, if not sometimes when we come in Krishna consciousness, when we try to practice, chanting, when we try to understand the philosophy of these things, when we are already on the path, even being in the path also, at one corner in our heart, at one corner in our head, we think, no, I can make it comfortable. This is what is called as Maya, right? That we are not ready to accept the fact that this world is miserable. I cannot make it comfortable. I just have to leave this world permanently and go back to Godhead, go back to Krishna, to my eternal home, to my eternal Father, right? When there is fire in the house, you don't think, let me think, let me find out how this fire came, or let me think of, being inside the house surrounded by fire. Let me think of a out of box solution to fight this fire. No, if you do that, you are a foolish person. You will be burnt along with the fire. At that point of time, when the whole house has caught fire, it's your intelligence, real intelligence is, how can I come out of the house? How can I jump out of the house and save myself? Right? This is intelligence. That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That is why the first song we sing during the first part of our morning sadhana, right? The Guru Vashtakam, it starts with Samsara Dava Nala Leedhaloka Pranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. What it says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur very beautifully explains that this world, samsara, it is davanala. It is like forest fire. Samsara is compared to forest fire. Samsara dava nala leedha loka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, Karunya, he brings the showers of rain. From whom? Praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya. Gunarnava is Lord Krishna. Guru brings the rain from the clouds, from Krishna. To such a Guru, Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. My obeisances, my pranams at the lotus feet of such a Guru. So, point is, this world is compared to forest fire. And our duty, our intelligence is to get out of here, not to settle down here with, very good comfortable cars, very good comfortable bungalows, right? Big bank account, right? Of course, all these things are required. But deep in the core of our heart, have this truth of this world. This world is temporary and moving. How much of a big car you have? You can see today there is nothing hidden. Online, if you go to Instagram or YouTube, everything is available. The most perfect car, the most safe cars are burned to ashes, have crushed in the accidents, and the people sitting there inside that have met a horrible deaths. Best of the cars, safest of the cars, not protect us, because this world is meant to give us miseries. How much ever you try by your endeavor, you cannot make this complete. Kala will take away your life. So, Krishna says, those who attain me, they will not come back to this miserable material world, which is temporary. Because they have attained the highest perfection. They have attained the highest planet, highest spiritual planet, from where one never returns. This material world is certified by its own, its very creator, the Supreme Lord, as Dukhalayam, which means the place of miseries. Since this is the case, how can we possibly make it comfortable by so-called scientific advancement? Dukkha means misery or suffering, and real suffering is birth, old age, disease, and death. We should again, now further, we go into more detail of what is suffering, right? Suffering means we think, my wife is not listening to me, this is suffering. Husband is not listening to the wife, this is suffering for the wife. Children are not listening to the parents, suffering for the parents, right? Parents are not listening to the children, suffering for the children. Students are not listening, suffering for the teachers, right? It's raining, suffering. It's cold, suffering. It's sunny, humid, suffering. Shastra says, Krishna says, these are not real sufferings. Real sufferings are Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. Janma. Repeatedly we take birth. And when we repeatedly take birth, we have to die. Mrityu. Janma, Mrityu. Then, when we are born, means we will grow old. In old age, we see people, right? So many sufferings. The organs in the body, the senses slowly start failing one by one. So much suffering, old age, and so many diseases. Right? It is said there is a competition going on between the modern scientists who are finding out the solution for the diseases and the diseases themselves who are coming back in newer and newer forms. There is competition, and always the diseases are ahead of the scientists. As soon as the scientists find out the solution of one disease, another disease is ready for them to fight with. Right? So, birth, Old age, disease, and death are our real problems. We have set these problems aside because we cannot solve them. Therefore, scientists concentrate on atomic bombs and spaceships. Why can't they solve these important problems that are always causing us to suffer? Obviously, they haven't the power, they have not the power to do so. But in this verse, Shri Krishna gives the solution. Mamupetya punarjanma. That is, if one attains my platform, he does not come back again to this place of misery. Unfortunately, in the mode of ignorance, people cannot understand that they are in a miserable situation. Animals cannot understand their miserable situations because they haven't the reason. Man possesses reason. Man possesses reason whereby he can understand this. But in this age, people are using their reasoning power in order to gratify their animal propensities. What are the animal propensities? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Only these are animal propensities. What the sophisticated human, right? That is why Srila Prabhupada says that today's modern human beings, they are polished animals. Why? Because with all their reasoning, with all their intelligence, what are they doing? They are trying to gratify their animalistic propensities. How can I eat nicely? How can I sleep nicely? How can I enjoy sex life nicely? And how can I protect myself? How can I defend myself nicely? These are the propensities, right? After exercising all their intelligence, their logic, their reasoning, after becoming a postgraduate degree holder, after becoming an IITian, after earning so much money, at the end of the day, what the person is doing, what the most intelligent person doing in this world, he is either thinking of nicely eating, nicely sleeping, nicely having sex life, or nicely defending himself. Does he think of the real problems of life? That at any moment of my life, I may have to give up this body, I may have to die. Does he think of this? Does he prepare for that? No. Most of the population all over the world, they're only after satisfying their animalistic propensity. Reason should be used in getting liberated from this miserable condition. The power given by nature, reasoning, right? It should be used for getting liberated from the miserable condition. However, if we engage in Krishna consciousness 24 hours a day without deviation, go to Krishna and not be reborn in this miserable world. Mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. Those great souls who have attained the highest perfection, Krishna consciousness, are forever freed from miseries. In this verse, the word Mahatma refers to a Krishna conscious man eligible to enter the abode of Krishna. The word Mahatma does not refer to a political leader like Mahatma Gandhi, but to a great soul, a pure devotee of Krishna. When Krishna says that the Mahatma enters his abode, he is referring to his transcendental kingdom, Goloka Vrindavana. The Vrindavana from which I have come is called Bhauma Vrindavana. The Prabhupada is referring to himself that because Srila Prabhupada, before taking sannyas, before leaving to US, he was doing his sadhana, doing his bhakti in Vrindavan, being situated in Vrindavan. That's why Prabhupada is referring that here, that the Vrindavan from which I have come is called Bhauma Vrindavana. The place Vrindavana, which is manifested from the spiritual world and which is in the Bhuloka, that's why it's called as Bhauma Vrindavana, which means it is the same Vrindavana descended on this earth. Just as Krishna descended on this earth through his own internal potency, similarly his Dhamma, his abode also descends. In other words, when Krishna descends on this earth, he manifests himself in that particular land Vrindavana, and therefore that land is also sacred. Apart from this, Krishna has his own abode in the spiritual sky, and this is called Goloka Vrindavana. The Mahatma prepares in this life to enter that transcendental abode. The human form of life can utilize nature to its best interest. Animals cannot. These facilities should be utilized in striving to become a Mahatma and putting an end to birth in this material world, which is characterized by threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are those that pertain to the mind or the body, that is called as Adhyatmika Klesha, and the miseries which occur through natural disturbances, they are called as Adi Bhautika Kleshas, and the miseries caused by other living entities. Sorry, the natural disturbances are called as Adi Daivika Kleshas, and those caused by other living entities are called as Adi Bhautika Kleshas. Whatever our position in this material world, there is always some kind of misery being inflicted upon us. Sri Krishna frankly says that it is not possible to avoid misery in this material world, because this material world is meant for misery. Unless miseries are present, we cannot come to Krishna consciousness, right? If this world becomes very peaceful, if this world itself becomes very comfortable, will not bother to know about the spiritual world, will not bother to know about a world where there is only happiness. Because in this world itself, I'm comfortable, I'm happy with the things, right? With the situations, with the relatives, right? If this world becomes miserable, then I think of the higher truth of life. Misery serves as an impetus to help elevate us to Krishna consciousness. An intelligent person understands that although he does not want misery, miseries are being inflicted upon him by force. No one wants misery, right? None of us wants misery. In fact, we always want to reduce the miseries. But a person should be intelligent enough to question, why are these miseries being forced upon me? Unfortunately, in modern civilization, people try to set miseries aside, thinking, oh, why suffer? Let me cover my miseries with some intoxication, right? People do that. As soon as the intoxication is over, one returns to the same point. The miseries of material existence can be solved only by Krishna consciousness. If we always remain in Krishna consciousness, we will be transferred to Krishna's planet upon leaving this material body. That is called the highest perfection. People may inquire, well, you say that entering Krishna's planet constitutes the highest perfection, but we are interested in going to the moon. Is this not a kind of perfection? Well, the desire to enter the higher planets is always there in the human mind. In fact, sometimes the great yogis also, they also want to enter in the higher planets. In fact, another name for the living entity is Sarvagata, which means that he wants to travel everywhere. That is the nature of the living entity. Americans who have money often go to India, Europe, or some other country because they do not like to stagnate in one place. That is our nature. And those who are in India, they want to go to America. Americans want to go to India and other places. Right? Indians want to go to America, Europe, Canada, every country. That is our nature. And therefore we are interested in going to the moon or wherever. But according to Krishna, even if we attain the higher planets, we are still subject to the material miseries. Brahma bhuvanalloka punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. In the very next verse, that is in the 8.15, and this is in the 8.16, Krishna says, Brahma bhuvanalloka punaravartino arjuna. If you are not interested in the spiritual planet, the highest perfection of life, you want to go to the higher planets of this material world, Krishna says, even if you go to the highest planet of this material world, that is Brahmaloka, Right? Brahmaloka, the Satyaloka is the highest planet. Bhur Bhuva Swaha Mahar Jana Tapa Satya. Satyaloka is the Brahmaloka. Even if you go there, Brahma Bhuvana Loka, Punaravartino Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, you have to come back to this material, to this Bhuloka. To again take birth and again suffer the miseries, the old age, the death. But Mamupetyatu Kaunteya, if you attain me, if you attain my kingdom in the spiritual world, the highest spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavana, O Kaunteya, Punarjanma na vidyate. Rebirth will never happen in your life. So beautifully, so mercifully, Krishna is giving us the root solution, the ultimate solution for all our miseries. But we are so foolish, so unfortunate that we don't want to take the ultimate solution. We are behind solving petty solutions of our problems of our life. We don't want the ultimate solution. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Of course, this translation is a different translation. The actual translation of this is anybody who goes to the Brahmaloka, from Brahmaloka also they have to come back to this material world, right? But one who attains Krishna, that person need not come back. The universe is divided into 14 planetary systems. Chaturdasha Bhuvana. Upper planetary systems, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satya. Lower planetary systems, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and finally Patala. 7 down and 7 up. 7 lower and 7 higher. The earth is situated in the middle. In this verse, Sri Krishna says, Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha. Even if one enters the highest planets, planet Brahmaloka, there is still birth and death. The words Punaravartinaha mean returning again or repetition of birth and death. We are changing bodies just as we change clothes, leaving one body and entering another. All planets are filled with living entities. We shouldn't think that only the earth is inhabited. There are living entities on the higher planets and lower planets as well. From our experience, we can see that no place on earth is vacant of living entities. If we dig into the earth, we find some worms. And if we go into the water, we find many aquatics. The air is filled with birds, and if we analyze outer space, we will find many living entities. It is illogical to conclude that there are no living entities on the other planets. To the contrary, they are full of living entities. In any case, Krishna says that from the highest planet to the lowest planet, there is repetition of birth and death. Yet again, as in the former verse, he says, Mamupetya, if you reach my planet, you don't have to return to this miserable material world. To stress this point, Sri Krishna repeats that upon reaching Goloka Vrindavana, his eternal abode, one is liberated from the cycle of birth and death and attains eternal life. It is the duty of human life to understand these problems and attain a blissful eternal life that is full of knowledge. Unfortunately, people in this age have forgotten the aim of life. Why? Durashayaye bahirarthamaninaha. People have been trapped by the material glitter, by skyscrapers, big factories, and political activities. People do not stop to consider that however big the skyscraper may be, they will not be allowed to live there indefinitely. We should not spoil our energy, therefore, in building great cities, but should employ our energy to elevate ourselves to Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not a religious formula or some spiritual recreation, but is the most important factor in our lives. People are interested in attaining higher planets because there one's enjoyment is 1,000 times greater and the duration of life much longer. Sahasra yuga paryantam haryad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha. Brahma's day and night. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion. There being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 117,28,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 12,96,000 years. In the Dwapar Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 8,64,000 years. Now there is a mistake. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent, and this yuga lasts 4,32,000 years. So double of this is the Dwapar Yuga, that is 8,64,000. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the Yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as the Kalki Avatara, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma, the creator god, and the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years, by earth calculations, total 311 trillion and 40 million earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable, but from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord and Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahma Loka, which is in the highest planet in the material universe, and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of planetary system. But in due course of Brahma, and all inhabitants of Brahma Loka are subject to death according to the law of material nature. So even if we live millions and trillions of years, we have to die. Death cannot be avoided. Throughout the entire universe, the process of creation and annihilation is taking place as described in the next verse. So next verse we will take up in our next class. Thank you all for joining this session. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.